Give them a shot to do what?
Bert, man,
Yes, sir.
we're doing this on a Monday.
Yes,
It's
sir.
nice. Feels good. You got that fresh ink on the arm. I see that.
Fresh ink. It's healing. It's getting there. You can see it still has like that shine to it, even though it's well underway. But man, that was an adventure and a half.
Adventure and a half.
Yeah, look, new ink, new threads came in too. You see my Michael Strahan, that classic giant blue jersey coming in, and
Nice.
have to give a shout out to Bring Hockey Back, just dropping fresh hockey merch all the time. You can see the Happy Gilmore pick in the background too, right over there. Man, straight fire. So I had to put those on display.
Hell yeah. Just fresh off a fantasy draft. How you feel about it?
I'm indifferent. It's one of those. It's a 10-team league. I was in the 8th spot, which I mean, arguably you can say is one of the better spots because you get that snake that comes around. But I don't know. I keep second guessing myself after I get that second pick, that one that comes back up, knowing that I have to wait however many it is to come back, and always trying to guess the trends. But it was look, it's a 10-team league. So, I mean, you really win the championships off the wire in leagues like that. You know, when you have a deep team, like when you have 12 or 14, then you know you have to draft strong and make sure your players stay healthy. But we'll see. I mean, 8 pick, I got Najee Harris on on the first round, and then coming back up, picked up Devontae Adams. And then from there, it was kind of just trying to see who's the best wideout / running back I can get. So it's not terrible. Tom Brady's my quarterback, not hating it. I'll give you my starting lineup. I got Brady, Adams. I got Cortland Sutton from Denver, Najee Harris, Connor from Arizona as my running backs. Schultz, Dallas tight end. Picked up DK just to see what he can do. So he's currently sitting in my flex, and we'll see what happens. Denver with my defense, and Matt Gay is my kicker. And then bench looks pretty strong. Got Matt Ryan as a backup QB, so I don't hate that. Last year's rookie out of Philly, Devonta Smith. Robert Woods. So I'm not looking terrible, but there's a lot of depth.
There's a lot of what ifs. That is all what if team. Noticeably absent for your kicker, Matt Araiza. I don't know how he fell off your big boards.
I don't think he was available, to be honest with you.
No, he's the Bills. He's the Bills kicker that got caught gang raping chicks in the Bills.
It's funny you say, because I was like, I had a bit the one, I guess whoever the backup is now, like in my queue, because I mean, he's still ranked pretty high, and he went. Tyler
Bass. Yeah.
They
I don't know
released
what
him
they're
real
gonna do.
quick.
They're not playing. They're not. They said, "Hey, Cleveland, not us, not today, and not ever." And then at the end of the day, if everything clears up on his end, and they'll just re-sign him. But we'll do top 5 NFL offenses. Baker Mayfield. I did some number crunching, Bert, about NFL players who were drafted in the first round that went on to have a career elsewhere. The numbers aren't looking good for Baker. I'll admit it. It's not looking good for Baker. And some Jimmy G news, man. Jimmy Graps staying around. Showing once and for all that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch literally have no backbone. And so we'll find out. Sports. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Stuff About Sports. I am the Facebook felon Germ, and that is the prettier Corey. Bert, man, you're looking like $1 million, man. I love the tat,
dude. This was a year in the making. If I can show off, it's more like a basically half sleeve minus my inner arm, but you really can't tell. It's got like, a little owl action, little lighthouse, trying to keep it some true meaning. And then also my artist just makes everything she does look so badass. And I went to her and I said, look, this is kind of what I wanted it. What's your vision? And she drew up something that I didn't have to change at all. She showed it to me. She's like, yo, what do you think of this? And I said, I'm going to get in that chair and you're going to put that on me. And that's why I wasn't in last week. Thank you, Mike, for stepping in for Stuff About Sports. It was just one of those where it took a little bit longer than I expected, only because my artist was so into the design. She wanted to get every detail right, and you want an artist like that. I'm super happy with it. Super happy with her. She did an awesome job, and cannot be happier with what's on my body now. But anybody who's a tattoo person out there knows now it's just in the healing stage. So I'm in day 1.5 of the lotion, which means that your arm's not like your skin feels
yeah
and it's on its way of healing. So, but hey, we're good there. Look, beauty is pain.
Yeah, it sure is. And the tat is beautiful. You're looking great. I appreciate Mike for stepping in, and obviously I'm glad that you're back. Guess who else is back? Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Graps.
Getting that
we
deal.
Thought, hey, by 4:00 tomorrow, we thought he was going to get cut and then sign over to Seattle. And all of a sudden, he's signed with no trade. He has a no trade clause now. He has this 1-year extension for the season. He has a no trade clause, and he has a the signing bonus of like $6.5 million.
6.5.
He has so there's a little give and take. There's also a no tag clause. So this is it. This is the last year for Jimmy G. They're either going to sign him or they're going to let him go. There's not going to be a franchise tag. They can't franchise tag him. So that's to protect the 49ers. And then there's a no trade clause, and that's to protect Jimmy G. Bert, when I saw this come across the timeline, I did a quick reaction. And the more I've thought about it, the better I feel about how I initially reacted. This is a hedge bet.
Yeah.
This to me says, hey, Trey Lance, we got some offseason, preseason, training camp, practice. Not really liking what I'm seeing here. To me, it seems like, and they knew it. Like they weren't going to get a trade partner because nobody's going to trade for Jimmy G because nobody in their right mind, like us, didn't think that they would step in week 1 with this guy on the roster. Next thing you know, we're like, all right, so he's sitting off on the side of practice, chilling, throwing passes to his trainers, healing. They'll cut him, and then he'll go to Seattle. Wait a minute. All of a sudden, a couple Trey Lance practices aren't going well. He has a couple nice passes in preseason, but nothing that's like shaking the earth. And now he's back as a backup to Trey Lance, which I got to say must feel super uncomfortable for the kid.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, this honestly, this last minute effort surprised me as well because I thought, listen, why not just roll with the young blood? But no, Jimmy's coming out with $6.5 million guaranteed. But apparently, he's got incentives that will push his money closer to $16 million, provided he does well and he performs too. But he's going to return as a backup. But I mean, you got that guaranteed money. It's kind of just a fail-safe for them, honestly. It kind of, to me, it shows lack of structure. Like, what are you doing? If I'm a 49er fan right now, I'm like, why are we giving all this money just to return as a backup? Like, but I mean, I guess it's good to have. I mean, it's probably a week-to-week situation to see. Look, Trey's going to, he's going to perform great. If not, hey, you got your replacement right there. We're paying him to sit there, type thing.
Jimmy G is going to replace Trey Lance by week 7. Book it. I'm saying. Yo.
So it's funny you say that because I'm shocked you're giving him until week 7.
Yeah.
I would have said through 4 weeks. 4 weeks is not a good sample size, right?
Sorry. What would you say?
I would have thought you'd give him until 4 weeks. I think 4 weeks is a good sample size, right?
So 4 weeks is a good sample. It depends,
7
right?
is like you're rolling with at least 50% of the season at that point.
So
about.
Let's see. They start off the Bears, the Seahawks, the Broncos, and the Rams, right? So if he goes 2-2, you're not going to replace him. Then you have now. Obviously, if you go 0-4, you'll replace him. But 2 of those games are winnable, I would think.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it depends on what he does, how they win, and how they lose, right?
Right.
But I mean, look.
Check this out, though.
Yeah.
After these games, after those first 3, what is this? They start off at the Bears. And then they're home at Seattle. Then they go to Denver. They're home at the Rams. And then Carolina, the Falcons, the Chiefs, the Rams again, the Chargers. So that's a lot. That's a stretch, man. Like that's a pretty good. I mean, outside of the Falcons, I mean, they could lose all those games. Boom, week 7, Cardinals. Jimmy G comes in, smokes them. And then 49ers on their way to win another NFC title game under Jimmy Graps.
It's the more I continue to think about this, like yourself, it's one of those interesting moves where is Jimmy phoning it in? Like now we're shifting off of, hey, we're happy he's there just in case, but like Has he phoned it in? Is he gonna Matt Leinart the shit out of the NFL and be a consistent backup quarterback from team to team and just collect the money? He took guaranteed money and no trade clause to ride Pine. Like that to me is a little bit weird from someone who was in a Super Bowl. So I would have thought he would have had, unless it's more of a personal decision, like, look, all my shit's here. Let me live here one more year and then I'll start looking. I don't know. Obviously, he doesn't have like a family yet because he's out there banging porn stars, but living every man's dream. But yeah, I mean, the fact that he can't go anywhere for a year is just shocking to me. Or the Niners are holding on to information they're not sharing right now, and they're saying, yeah, he's a backup, but then like come week 1, week 2, they're gonna be like, nah, we're changing it up.
Shout out to Blaine of the Final Whistle Sports Podcast. I was on his show a week or two ago, and I foolishly said that Jimmy G would be the starting quarterback of Miami by midseason. Because I feel like Jimmy G with Miami would be a threat to my Buffalo Bills. And obviously he's chiming in to rub it in my face. And because he said it was ridiculous then and it's ridiculous now. And he's right. He's absolutely right. So shout out to Blaine. Check out the Final Whistle Sports Podcast wherever you get your pods. So, yeah, but it's odd, right? Like it was already weird because you're replacing a guy who statistically is one of the most efficient quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah.
He had a better passer rating than like Mahomes and Allen and Herbert. His yards per attempt were top 5 or top 8 in the league or something crazy. Obviously his winning percentage is ridiculous. The discrepancy between the games they win and lose with and without him was nuts, like well noted. And you're replacing that, like the bar is the Super Bowl. Like he took them to the Super Bowl. However you feel about Jimmy G, you can't argue the numbers. Math is the only thing that's perfect in his universe. And the math says Jimmy G is a good quarterback.
Yeah.
And now you're putting this pressure on this kid to replace that. And now you're doubling up on the pressure by bringing him back into the locker room after he spent the entire offseason off to the side of training camp, not being involved at all in anything that the 49ers were doing. It just, I mean, you're right. If I'm a 49ers fan, man, I'm kind of like, fuck, like, what are we doing? John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, there's something going on there. They were arguing about Trey Lance and Mac Jones, drafting them, and they obviously went with Trey Lance. Like, there's always something going on between the front office about who's making the decision. So who's in charge over there? To me, I'll be honest with you. They shouldn't even have drafted Trey Lance. They should have just stuck. They should have drafted more offensive line help, more defensive help. They should have drafted something to help Jimmy G. They weren't that far off. They were overthrow away. So everybody overthrows. Like they weren't. It wasn't like Jimmy G stunk it up. He was one pass away from winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I really don't understand the thought process of even replacing him. It just doesn't, like, you're worried about athleticism. How about you worry about catering your offense to the quarterback you have? We all want to drive a Ferrari, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like sometimes you can't. I got to make this Ford Explorer work. I have to do things to drive it like a Ford Explorer and make it the best possible vehicle I can, instead of worrying about a Ferrari that I'm picking up from the junkyard and hoping that it does what my Ford was able to do. It just, it's a lot to process as a 49ers fan, because now you just spent the offseason cursing Jimmy G out, talking about he's gone, he's out of here, we don't have to worry about it. And now here he is back in the locker room, making it really awkward because Trey Lance's mistake window just got a lot smaller.
Yeah, I mean, on the flip side of this, he's got Super Bowl rings. He's got 2 from being with the Patriots. He played in 1 Super Bowl, and you're right. I mean, was 1 pass away. He is a guy that can get the job done. We know this, but for him, I mean, this move shows me he's just content with, yeah, I'll take the back seat. If you want me to play, I'll play. If not, that's fine. I don't really want to go and compete anywhere else right now. And maybe that'll change. Yeah. Maybe he'll get the itch and want to do it and want to go to a better team when he figures out like what, obviously, who's going to pay him and what the deals are. But as of right now, I mean, Jimmy's going to enjoy San Fran life and hopefully get another shot at it.
They're really scared of him going to Seattle. I mean,
they should be. They absolutely should be. The window is, for all intent, like it's there for them. And I mean, if he goes elsewhere else and Trey Lance doesn't pan out, like, sorry, you're back to square one. And this is a team that has come so close over the years, so close, and got nothing to show for it.
So, before we get to Baker, I just wanted to let you know I watched this Prey movie, this Predator prequel, like Predator, whatever it was.
Was it good?
I enjoyed it. It was good.
Okay.
But again, I obviously have to suspend my disbelief. It's a bunch of Native Americans fighting the predator. And obviously this predator is also primitive for an alien species. So it's not like the predator we're used to.
It's a primitive
but the only thing
predator?
Yeah, like you could tell, like this is because this takes place in the 1700s, right? So it's like,
oh, so it's like before like Arnold's Predator. Okay,
right. And so if humans are devolved, it makes sense that the predators would also not be as predatory. So I mean, but this predator was pretty badass. But the only thing I thought of was it took Arnold Schwarzenegger and Governor Ventura. What the hell was his name? Jesse Ventura.
Yep. Jesse the Body.
Jesse the Body. It took like 10 super trained military dudes to beat one. And this little Native American girl is just beating the Predator's ass all movie with a fucking axe that she made out of a rock. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And so some of that, like, but they didn't do it. And like, she did it smart. I think there was she did it in a way that she didn't use, like most of the people that fight the Predator try to like outmuscle it, and she outsmarted it. And it was realistic. So like, it's a minor complaint, but there were some parts in the movie I'm like, nah, dog, like he smacked the shit out of her. She should be dead. But and it was cool. Like the Predator, even for a monster that didn't talk, like they gave it, like it made sense what it was doing. So I was cool with it. But
man, look, last Predator movie I watched was the Deshaun Watson trial. Bam!
Yeah. Hold on, I got him. Oh man, my soundboard. There you go. You deserve that round of applause. Yes, excellent. So Baker Mayfield officially named the starter. No surprise to nobody. Everybody knew that was going to happen. And here he is about to take on his Cleveland Browns, the Jacoby Brissett-led Cleveland Browns. You see how man, we're good at this, man. You tied it all together with Deshaun Watson and Baker Mayfield, Predator. Nasty, man. You saw that the NFL, the not the investigator, but like the I guess the social group for the NFL was like, we think Deshaun Watson's playing us. Like it's never going to end, man. It's like they're like, we feel like he's only saying the things he has to say to play. Like this thing is never going to end. It's
you think that? All right, he is, and that's because he still wants to play. I'm shocked that there are Brown fans just like, like that's fine. Like I get like some of this, like they're trying to find humor in like the signs and like the t-shirts and shit like that, but like, man, I've said it once.
That's gross, though, man.
If I was a Giant fan, I would want nothing to do with my team. And I love the team, but my God, it would be hard for me to watch him as a quarterback for my football team. It would be.
So, okay, that's interesting. All right. It's not on the docket, but I'll just bring it up real quick with the Matt Araiza thing. And people are like, oh, you were slamming Deshaun Watson and now you're defending Matt Araiza. I'm not defending Matt Araiza. If what he did, I'm defending the process, right? Like we're so like, what happened to innocent until proven guilty? The difference with Deshaun Watson was we let an investigation play out through the arbiter of the NFL to find out that he was guilty.
Yeah.
And then the other difference is we're talking about one accuser in one situation, much like Ben Roethlisberger. We're talking about 30 different women here. We're talking about a pattern of behavior.
Yeah.
There's this lady who, who filed this civil suit. Her story is already shaky because she already agreed to them having sex. Now, again, she's 17, he's 22. I get the legality of that, but I'm talking about waiting for information. At no point did anybody say that he knew that she was 17. There's a difference there. Like you have to let these things. It's okay to wait for information before you start slamming or defending a guy. I was defending the process. Now they cut him. I'm like, man, you guys are about to ruin this kid. They're already ruining his life because they're attaching gang rape to his name on the message boards. And the Bills just cut him just like that because he's a punter. And to me, that sends a bad message because it's like, damn, you drafted this guy. Like, you're not just going to support him over he said, she said. Now, again, if it's proven to be fact, then you just cut him and that's fine. Like, he's going to go to jail and that's fine. But to do that prematurely because of optics, because the Karen Klux Klan is on Twitter blowing you guys up is, to me, I mean, it's like McCarthyism. It's mass hysteria just taking over. It's a bad look to me.
It is, but on the other side of it, with everything going on, and I understand, like if we're looking at this from a private employer standpoint, And from a team that is a Super Bowl contender and doesn't want no distractions whatsoever. And not for nothing, position has a lot to do with it. You're a punter, guess what? You can get 8 other fucking
100%.
guys to do the same thing. Does it suck if all this turns out to not be true? And you are ruining this was likely one of his first or second shot at only shot really to make it at this level. It is what it is, man. But you hope that none of this is true and it's just one story that got out of control. But I understand why the Bills are doing what they're doing. I get it. I would want our team to kind of do the same because you don't want distractions. You don't want people to point to it. I mean, all it takes is a losing record for them to be like, do you think this is a big distraction? And it just throws the whole fucking off.
Yeah.
And why wait for the NFL to mismanage anything ever again? Like with Deshaun Watson and anything else they've done too. So it sucks if it turns out not to be true, but I get why they're getting ahead of it 1,000%. You want to know what the difference is? That is a well-managed organization.
Yeah,
plain and simple.
Sure.
Houston,
I do. I
God,
get it.
Yeah.
No. Stevie A. Smith chimed in. He enjoyed my Karen Klux Klan comment. We're gonna dub that. Shout out to Stevie A. Smith. Check him out. He does a really excellent show. He's up there. Steezy, please tell me how you feel about losing out on Jimmy Garoppolo, because now you have to roll with Geno Smith. And if you want to root for the Buffalo Bills for just one season until you guys figure it out, there's room on the bandwagon. We'll circle the wagons for you, buddy. Because I mean, I can't believe in the year of 2022, the year of our Lord, we're rolling out Geno Smith as a starting quarterback in the NFL. It's got to be. I mean, it's wild. So Baker, 10 minutes later, I ran some numbers, Bert, about Baker Mayfield, and I've done this show. Or I've done this on the show before about the success rate of first-round draft picks, whether that's in the NBA or the NFL, and it's always 50-50. And so, honestly, I'm rooting for the Bills to win. So let's go. Hell yeah. Let's go. Bills Mafia. You didn't want him in Seattle? All right, man. Like I said, Geno Smith, year 2022 is your starter.
Jimmy didn't want to be in Seattle. He didn't. He didn't want to be anywhere else.
Yeah, he wanted, man. All the porn stars are in San Fran, man.
Yeah,
San Fran's a secret.
They don't leave.
Yeah. So I looked at some of these numbers, and it's not great. I like Baker, but you look of a bunch of these first round quarterbacks, and dating back to like 2009, there's been like 30 of them. Bert, the only ones that have gone on to have another career elsewhere after they left the team that drafted them. Think about it. Johnny Manziel never got another chance to play. Christian Ponder.
So we can argue Johnny Manziel was never an NFL quarterback to begin with. But
I mean, we can.
The Browns.
Tim Tebow had 14 starts with Denver, including that playoff win, which seems like a low number, but
we all know 14. That and people will argue that playoff win was not. It should.
He won them that game.
He did.
He won them.
That was a
he won
phenomenal pass. So yeah. He won him that game.
He won that game, but then he only had 2 starts with different teams elsewhere. Christian Ponder, Jake Locker, Paxton Lynch. Yeah, like these guys, they go, and then you have guys like Teddy Bridgewater, right, who had like a shit ton of starts, 35 starts with Minnesota, and then he had 21 starts between the Saints, the Panthers, and the Broncos, and then you get to the outlier of Ryan Tannehill, who had 80-something starts with the Dolphins, and now he's at 40-something starts with the Titans with wild success. But Ryan Tannehill is like the outlier here. The only other person that comes to mind is Jameis Winston, right? Jameis Winston had, he was injured last year. So, his 7 starts that he has post Buccaneers, and he'd probably still be playing for the Buccaneers if it wasn't for them getting Tom Brady. So, and I think Jameis is going to stick around for a while in New Orleans. But when you think about the number of quarterbacks that don't go, right? Sam Darnold, bust. Josh Rosen, super bust. Like some of these guys who are drafted in the top 10 or in the first round that don't end up really making it past that first team is staggering, right? RG3, 35 starts with the Washington, formerly Redskins. only 7 starts after Washington after Washington. It doesn't work out. Now, I could argue that Baker is better than everybody else I've named, except maybe Ryan Tannehill. So I think Baker has the potential to break that mold and join that very rare special group because
is Kirk Cousins not in that group?
Oh, okay. Well, was Kirk Cousins drafted by Washington?
I thought he was. I could be grossly mistaken.
I feel like Kirk Cousins joined Washington when he was 42 years old. I could be dead wrong. He seemed old all my life.
Yeah, he was drafted by Washington in 2000.
Okay, then
he was the backup of RG3. Now I don't know I guess he was traded to Minnesota, wasn't he? So is that the difference as opposed to signing?
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. Baker was traded to Carolina too, right? So yeah, all right. So Kirk Cousins is in that mold too. And so but still, even then, Kirk Cousins, top 100 player, in the NFL, technically, right? He's number 99.
He's got it.
And so and his numbers say that he definitely has broken that mold. So
his numbers say you like that.
I do like that. I love Kirk Cousins, man. Washington messed up, man. And I think Minnesota is going to surprise a lot of people offensively this year because I think Kevin O'Connell is the type of coach that's going to help not only Kirk Cousins but Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, and he's going to focus on the offense because that's their strong suit. I mean, I don't know what Mike Zimmer was doing with that defense. They didn't have the players and they didn't play well. And I think the team only did well because Kirk Cousins was the quarterback. And so we'll see what's going on there. Speaking of NFL top 100, Bert, I got to pull up a list here before we get to the top 10 list overall, because it's kind of a joke to me. And it's not really, and I get that these lists don't technically mean anything.
Yeah, it seems like more of a popularity like prom vote than anything else. But
and they said the players voted on this, but I kind of don't like that because half these players went to Alabama with a 400 SAT score, so they're not the smartest. Here are the quarterbacks, Bert, and I feel like if your quarterback isn't on this list that I'm about to read, then you just don't have a quarterback, and you should just shut the fuck up. And from last to first, Kirk Cousins, Mac Jones, which I have a huge problem with Mac Jones being damn near 10 spots ahead. Kirk Cousins was 99. Mac Jones was number 85. I have a huge problem with that. And then you have Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert cracking the top 40. At 36, you have Lamar Jackson. 27, you have the Super Bowl winning quarterback recently, Matt Stafford. 21, Joe Burrow. 13, Josh Allen. Number 8, Patrick Mahomes. Number 3, Aaron Rodgers. And number 1, Tom Brady. Bert, the top 10 players. Before we even the top 10 players in the NFL, according to the players. At number 10, Travis Kelce, Jalen Ramsey, Mahomes, Devontae Adams at 7, TJ Watt at 6, Jonathan Taylor at 5, Cooper Kupp at 4, Aaron Rodgers at 3, Aaron Donald at 2, and 45-year-old Tom Brady at number 1. And you know who made this list? Yeah, you're not supposed to be here. You know who made this list?
Liberal media.
And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Bert, I got to tell you, if you are looking at this list, and I'm just going to be a homer for a second, you are not drafting Cooper Kupp, Jonathan Taylor, Devontae Adams, Jalen Ramsey, or Travis Kelce ahead of Josh Allen. By that virtue, Josh Allen they changed the overtime rules for Josh Allen. How is he not a top 10 player? It'd be what if he was like 6 or 8 or 9, I'd be like, he's probably top 5.
Yeah.
He's 13, or I probably wouldn't even complain. I'd just be like, man, I could see him being higher than Jonathan Taylor. Dog, he's 13.
Yeah, 1-3.
That's a joke. Patrick Mahomes is number 8. Bert, if you had to draft a team, are you drafting Devontae Adams over Patrick Mahomes or TJ Watt? or Jonathan Taylor or Cooper Kupp?
No.
Fuck no. So what kind of list is this, man? Like I don't know, man. I get riled up, and I have to remind myself that these lists don't actually mean anything.
The funny thing is Josh Allen is down 3 spots from last year's list, is what it's telling me.
Which makes 0 sense.
It makes 0 sense because we have a phenomenal season. I mean, we have Trent fucking Williams, who's up 28 spots to the 14 spot. So Derrick Henry dropped 6 spots. Myles Garrett went up 5. Let me look at the top 10 real quick, because I would love to know which one of these motherfuckers was well below that last year.
Yeah, I can't even.
Kelsey apparently
somebody was telling
5 last year. Jalen Ramsey up 5 spots. Patrick Mahomes was number 1 last year. Devontae Adams dropped down. T.J. Watt. All right, they've all. Jonathan Taylor, right where he was. Actually, no, not applicable. He wasn't even on the list last year. Cooper, same thing. Aaron Rodgers stayed the same. Apparently, Aaron Donald did too. Tom Brady jumped back up after being in the 7 spot last year. So essentially, him and Mahomes traded places, which is why.
That's a back-to-back MVP. Like Aaron Donald should be number 1 on the list, by the way. But if you're going to put a quarterback up there, why would it not be the back-to-back MVP? Explain that. Yeah. So, I mean, the divide says, where was Danny Dimes? I believe this was a top 100 list.
Butthole and sniffing it. Like, that's where he's at now.
This is not a top 500 list. This is a top 100 list.
The highest scoring Giant game you might see this year. And I love them. Again, love my Giants. New Jersey. This I forget my camera's mirrored, but New Jersey right back there. Plan on wearing it every fucking Sunday, win or lose.
Yeah.
Love my Giants. But the highest scoring game you'll see was the Giants-Jets preseason game we just watched this past weekend. So
it's got to hurt your feelings that Tyrod Taylor went down, right? Like your soul probably left your body because that was your last hope. Like now it has to be Daniel Jones. It has to be.
There is no other. Plain and simple.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I got to tell myself that these lists don't mean anything, but Josh Allen being number 13 is fucking ridiculous. It doesn't make sense.
The NFL does this shit all the time, though. They make lists like this, or even the way they do their Hall of Fame voting is fucking dumb. So it's like, I feel like everything they do. I also think they shouldn't have an all-encompassing list because to me, you can recognize great defensive players, but when you have a guy like a Josh Allen, or even an Aaron Rodgers, or like when you have Mahomes sitting down at like the 7 or 8 spot or like 6 spot, it's like, you should have an offensive top 100 and a defensive top. Like, leave it at that. Because then, I mean, you can argue, like, sure, there's certain skill positions that are a little bit more talented, but the same, like, I mean, you have a guy like, Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor who weren't even ranked last year, who are now top fucking 5. So, and well deserved. Don't get me wrong, but like, come on.
Sam Darnold is not a MILF hunter. You're thinking of this divide. This is why you should stick to baseball. You're talking about Zach Wilson, sir.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold is the guy who looks like he licks the
Sam Darnold has lost his job. Yeah.
He did. And shout out to Sam Darnold. I know he's hurt, so we're not really making fun of your injury, but you look like the kid who like puts his mouth on the water fountain, and that's how you end up with mono, which is what happened when he was
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Joe Burrow not being in the top 20, I get that he's 21 is a crime. Whoever made this list is on bath salts. That's all I got to say. Fuck these guys.
I just want to know what the criteria. Are you solely judging them off the year prior and their potential this year? Because if that's the case, Joe Burrow went to the fucking Super Bowl.
What is the again? The players are you giving Tom Brady now? Again, it sounds like I'm shitting on Tom Brady. He led the league in passing yards last year, but I mean, let's be real. Put Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes on that Bucs team. You mean to tell me they're not going to win the Super Bowl? They're not going to be as nasty as they are with Tom Brady. Put Aaron Rodgers on that Bucs team. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense that they do shit like this. So, NFL 100 list. Stop messing with my head. Stop messing with my mind.
Diggs dropping down 15 positions to number 26. Oh.
Stephon Diggs is a top 3 receiver
behind Nick Bosa. Woof. Yes, sir.
Now that I think we got one more show. Next show is the debut of the Bucket of Doom next week.
Yes, it's back.
It is back. I'm not sure what day because I don't know what day I work, and I can't pull up my calendar right now.
We're gonna have to talk out because my week's a little messed up too.
Yeah, let's see. What's today? Today's Monday. So
Today
I work
Monday.
Tuesday, I work Thursday, I work Saturday. So I'm off Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So
maybe we do Monday
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Week.
You want to do Monday next week?
Yeah.
And we'll pull the Bucket of Doom. We'll try to get Ty and Corey and Mike at least for a segment. Or maybe we can pre-record that segment. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. I'd much rather them come on live for a segment or two, and we could pull the bucket. But I'm very excited for that. And so I compiled a list, Bert, of the top 5 NFL offenses. And I don't know if you made a list. I know you were busy.
I didn't, but I'll comment on yours.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So first I have an OLI list, outside looking in. All right. Ooh. Just because there's a lot of offenses I like. Top 3 OLI. Philadelphia Eagles. Okay. I think they have a deep offensive line. I think that was the main thing they fixed outside of adding AJ Brown. You already had Devonta Smith. You have Dallas Goedert on that team as one of the low-key great tight ends in the league. And then you got Jalen Hurts, who, a lot of people seem to like him. I think he's pretty good. And
a lot of people love him.
Yeah. I mean, and AJ Brown's dirty. He thinks there's something wrong with him mentally because he thinks he's the greatest Tennessee Titan receiver of all time, which is crazy. But it's, I like the Eagles offense. I have some question marks about Jalen Hurts, but you look at them on paper, they're deep. And so they're on the OLI list. Second OLI, Denver Broncos. I like Jerry Jeudy.
Outside looking in.
I did. Okay. With Javonte Williams, they have that, and Melvin Gordon with the running backs. Not sure about Courtland Sutton, even though I drafted him in my warm-up league. And then who's the other guy? Jerry Jeudy. I like Jerry Jeudy a lot. I wish they would have added another speedy receiver to help out a little bit. And I don't know who their tight end is, but I know it was Noah Fant. And maybe the tight end's really good, and I'm just blanking on his name. But they probably should add another tight end to help out Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson, I think, has a lot left to prove, and I think he's going to be really good in Denver. And you add a Hall of Fame quarterback, your offense has to be one of the best. Like, Russell Wilson's is awesome. So, he's on the outside looking in, because I just, the rest of the team, I don't know if he can elevate them over that list. And then the last OLI is the Los Angeles Rams, asterisk, because if OBJ comes back to that team, then they will end up in the top 5.
Yeah.
And they'll take over the number 5 team on my list, which is the Cincinnati Bengals, who made this magical run. The offense was potent. They had the top 5 quarterback, top 5 receiver, top 5 running back, top 5 tight end. Now, they lost the tight end, but it's okay, because they upgraded the one thing they were bad at last year, and that was offensive line. They went from the 30th ranked offensive line last year to now a projected 11th best offensive line in the league. So if that's the case, if they have an offensive line that's flirting with the top 10, they probably are going to be back where they left off in Super Bowl contention. Number 4, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They get docked a little bit for losing Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski, and now they have fat Leonard Fournette. But they still, and Tom Brady's a year older. So, I mean, I'm sorry, I got to dock you. I mean, until he's got to hit the wall at some point. And every year he gets older and plays, the closer that wall is going to get. It just hasn't happened yet. But that team still, with Tom Brady at his advanced age, and Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and
Julio.
all the boys, and Julio. Damn, yeah, I forgot. So there you go. Never mind. Yeah, they probably should be higher. Number 3, the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert, I can't quit you. They're stacked. They're stacked all over the place. They just got to get it together in some of these bigger games, these more meaningful games. They can beat up on the lower seed teams, no problem, but I'm going to need them to step it up against the good teams. Number 2, my Buffalo Bills. That's right. Josh Allen and the Herd are coming to the Super Bowl this year. And the only thing I'm worried about is still our running back situation and our offensive line situation. We signed some guys. I got to see how they play. this revolving door we've had at our offensive line, I feel like we should have done a little bit more to kind of help that out. But James Cook, hopefully, if he's anything like his brother, that'll fix that. I don't know. And Devin Singletary, I don't like him, and he's going to be our starter. But obviously we have
but
Josh Allen
that can waver. He might hold that all season.
Yeah, you never know. And then I wish we would have added another receiver instead of Jamison Crowder. I wasn't a fan of that signing, but we'll see. And obviously, Gabe Davis looked like he stepped into our number 2 role very well with those 4 touchdowns in that game against the was kind of like his coming out game against the Chiefs. But this will be his first year truly as the number 2. So there's, you never know how that's going to pan out. So hopefully it works out. If it does, that's great for us. But with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, I mean, there's not another quarterback receiver combo. There's not many that I would take over that. And then number 1, until they prove otherwise, it's got to be the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, they lost Tyreek Hill, but they still have McCole Hardman. They got that speedy kid. What's his damn name? I had everything up here. Damn it, whatchamacallit just drafted him in our bragging rights league, and I was like, who the hell is that? And they were like, oh man, he's super fast, and he's like a wild card. I'll find it later. But they have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, McCole Hardman, and Juju Smith-Schuster. Sky Moore, that's the guy. Sky Moore, everybody's excited about him. So, and then they still have Travis Kelce. I mean, and Patrick Mahomes. And until Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes prove otherwise, the Chiefs are the damn Chiefs. And until the Bills can hold on for 13 more seconds and dethrone them, they're going to be number 1 on my list.
Okay.
I know that was a lot. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I'm shocked you put the Bills behind the Chiefs, but I understand why. You want to be the best, you have to beat the best. And not necessarily they're the best, but you have to get a little bit farther along than they are. So I'll allow it. It still bothers me. I mean, Tampa Bay is such a juggernaut. So there's really no arguing that in the least bit. Outside looking in, though, I mean, to put Philly in over Super Bowl winning Rams, that's a tough move. But I mean, yeah, we're there.
I mean, so here's my thought process with the Rams. No, Rams were above Philly. Philly was the last team, so they were the number 8 team. So the Rams would be 6. Yeah.
Okay.
But like Tampa Bay, right? Julio Jones, we saw him in Tennessee, didn't look that great. I get, it could be that situation. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just
maybe it wasn't a good fit.
It's like another team's hand-me-downs, right? Like he did so much in Atlanta. You're expecting these guys to go and perform. When they show up and don't do anything, and then granted that you're right, he may not just have fit like Tennessee's scheme, but we'll see. I mean, look, Tom Brady has a knack for getting the most out of his players. And everybody that he works with. I mean, he made a Super Bowl champion out of Antonio Brown. So here we are.
Yeah. All right, Bert, you got a game ball to give out?
My game ball is going to be preemptive game ball for tonight, as my New York Yankees are right now taking on the Angels, and I am calling it. Aaron Judge is going to hit his 50th home run tonight. He's going to get my game ball ahead of time to ensure that happens. Universe, if you're listening to me. I don't even know if he's in the lineup, to be honest with you. I should probably check that. But if not, he still gets it because he's the GOAT. He hit 49 the other day, and he's just going to earn that money.
That thing that they got going on in New York, man, like – I know you guys had that rough losing streak, but
we broke it, and then the last 2 games they dropped. But yeah, no, he has no lineup tonight. Yeah, he's gonna do it. He's gonna hit it, number 50 tonight. And we're gonna play this back next week. And I'm like, oh, this prophet Bert. It's what he is. So yeah, my game ball goes to him.
Sweet. My game ball is gonna go to Megan Rapinoe. She's on this like world tour. Last 4 games, she's had 4 goals, 3 assists, and she hit a game winner today. I guess yesterday because they're playing somewhere overseas right now. But she's, on the way out. She's killing it, representing for women all over the place. I know a lot of people don't like her politics and the things she says, but she's a really good soccer player, and I don't care about I don't care about
USA. She can use her platform however she wants, and we
100%.
all know that the U.S. women's national team should get paid tenfold over the men's because at least they fucking win.
Yeah, they absolutely should. They shit all over the dudes, and Megan Rapinoe, and she's married to my WNBA crush Sue Bird. So shout out to her. Tell Sue I love her, and I always will.
She retired, right?
Yeah. She's retiring this year. So this was her last season. Legend, Mount Rushmore and WNBA players. She's awesome. Excellent. Wish all the best to her in her future endeavors. You can check us out at Stuff About Sports on the Instagrams, # Stuff About Sports in your Googles, and you will find us wherever you find your podcast, the at Give Us a Shot Network YouTube page, www.giveusashot.network. And don't forget to go to fastbreakcoffee.com and use the promo code Get My Fix for some money off, and then get yourself some Fast Break coffee.
Yeah, kids are heading back to school. Time to wake up early, start that routine again. Start it with Fast Break, and then once you drop the kids off, do what Germ does. Go home and treat yourself like you're in an amusement park and beat yourself to death.
Yo, me and Tiffany Towers went crazy today, Bert.